In a few hours from now, President Trump will be firing up a crowd in Pensacola, Florida at a Make America Great Again rally. He's about to leave Washington to make his way there. And in a tweet this morning, he said, "We have done so much in so short a period of time, and yet we are planning to do so much more." Critics hate to give Mr. Trump any credit, but he has been delivering on his promises to the American people. He pledged to make the economy great again. And today, a new Labor Department report shows our economy added 228,000 jobs last month. The president promised tax cuts for Americans. A sweeping overhaul was passed by the GOP-led House and Senate. He kept his word earlier this week to officially recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Meanwhile, fewer illegal immigrants are trying to sneak into our country, border arrests are down, and we are finally crushing ISIS. Is anyone else tired of all this winning, Jesse? Look at his face. He's got permagrin now.
Did the White House PR write that?
Yeah. It's a cut and paste, actually.
Hey, that's my job. I'm supposed to say that.
In that read at all.
Fact check.
No, I mean, CNN actually had a story the other day. It said, Donald Trump, keeper of promises. They're shocked because he's not a typical politician. He's a man of action. He's a businessman. So he's actually followed through. I mean, the economy's humming. ISIS, we're bombing the hell out of ISIS. And Mexico is still going to pay for the wall. I do insist. And listen, no, he'll be judged on the economy. I think 17-year record low on joblessness. And it's widespread. I think 4.7% Hispanic unemployment. In the Obama economy, in the last year, 1,000 manufacturing jobs were being lost each month. I think the Trump economy so far has created 159,000 manufacturing jobs. That's very, very strong. And then, you know, internationally, tearing up all the treaties, getting out of all the bad trade deals. You know, we heard about ISIS, and then he's fulfilling a lot of promises to the conservatives. He made Gorsuch, packing the court with great conservatives, and I think still maintaining a strong connection to the people, the forgotten men and women of this country, defending the flag, defending our history,
our military,
defending our Second Amendment. And, you know, he does these rallies, which he's preparing for right now. It maintains the relationship.
This is such a auspicious day for Jesse Watters and the Make America Great Again movement. So obviously the speech tonight, people are enthusiastic about it. This is coming on a high note for the president with a lot of good accomplishments that he can tout. Can you add or improve upon anything?
Let's go over those accomplishments one more time.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What I want to talk about is how, what a strange phenomenon this presidency has been. We have a large part of the country who believes that we are in a Mad Max sequel. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of us are like, every day is NASCAR. It is incredible. It's really an exercise in mass delusion based on confirmation bias, that there's so many people. We're all looking at the exact same thing, but there are two camps that are seeing two different things. And I do believe that the people that are so entrenched in their negativity, they're led largely by emotion, and they can't let go. I think a lot of the confirmation bias is fueled by an emotional reaction to Donald Trump. So I always say, my notes here, the key is to separate the psychological effects of Trump from the practical results of his actions. That's how you're going to end up judging this guy. His in-your-face personality is always going to salt the wounds of people who don't like him. Like tonight, we'll salt the wounds of some people, but we'll indulge the pleasures of another. But the fact is, if you set what we did in the opening here, was we listed the practical results of his actions. And we're divorced from the psychological effects of his personality. And when you do that, you have to admit, this is a phenomenon. This is a consequential leader.
All right. So, Dana, what do you think about, what should the president focus on today? But, you know, obviously there's some accomplishments to highlight and focus on for the people.
Well, look, the first year of any presidency is usually the most consequential because you have all the juice from the election is behind you. I think that what you're talking about, the two viewpoints, was true during the Obama years.
True,
as well.
I agree, yeah.
And so this is not just that phenomenon.
Yeah.
And if this were a different network, at the end of Obama's first year, they could have had the exact same list, because it's just how you spin it. Another network tonight might say, here's all the things that Trump has failed to do, or that have all the basically the headwinds that are hard for him. But I do think that if he wants to look at things that he could tick off the box, these things are all happening, it's really good. And I think, you know, the Obama team might say, well, look, he had today was 86 consecutive months of job growth. Okay, well, obviously he's only been in office for 11 months. So these things compound each other on themselves, and economies cycle. But there is no doubt that consumer confidence really shot up. The deregulation effort is certainly really consequential. The other thing we didn't talk about here is something that is really having an impact, and that is the pulling back of all of those executive orders that President Obama put in place because they weren't solid. So because they weren't solid, he is able to walk them back. That also has helped fuel good economic things. There is a campaign promise that he made that he has not kept, that I think that I understand why politically he did not, and that is on the top tax rate for this tax reform bill. He campaigned on a 33% top tax rate, and that was actually all the Republicans ran on that together. I understand the concern that it would look like maybe he was giving the rich too much of a pass, including himself. So that's why, it creeped up. And then that's why you have the individuals paying more in some cases, and then the corporations getting this rate. And the math is really hard to do. I think politically, it doesn't matter. They're always going to say that he's doing everything just for the rich. So in order for good economic growth policy, he should just be able to work with the Congress when they go to conference next week and actually fulfill that campaign promise, because it will fuel the economy more, like goose it a little bit.
Ooh, goose
Watch
it.
your mouth,
Is that
young
allowed?
lady. I don't know. We're
I
gonna
didn't
have to
say it.
If you said it, it would be on the blogs.
Jesse was a ventriloquist, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, but so Jesse, you would probably agree with that point, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we need top tax relief badly. He campaigned on it. He said it was going to be Reagan-esque. It's more Mondale-esque.
Ooh.
And like you said, he's going to get criticized for it anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Why not do it? I think the reason they did it because it has to be a $1.5 trillion deficit neutral deal, and then you need 60 votes in the Senate. I know I'm boring everybody with that, but
Not really.
it could have been a lot more aggressive.
I feel
Not
bad
by
for
me.
Juan.
Juan, you may have the floor now. Just, just crush it.
Well, it's not hard to crush it. I mean, it's like what Greg said. Who pasted this from the White House, the communications office? I mean, we report, you decide. What are the American people saying about Trump? His approval rating down around 32%.
But approval rating is... okay.
No, let me finish.
No, I'm
okay,
not.
no.
I can't.
32%.
It doesn't matter with this guy.
Oh, no. And let me just tell you something.
It doesn't matter. They don't have to like him.
Let me just tell you something.
They don't have to like him.
If this was Obama, you guys would be jumping on the table.
You don't have to like your boss. You don't have to like your president.
Let me just tell you something. What about the tax plan that you guys are bragging about? Oh, gee whiz, Gallup, 29% approval. Most Americans think this is a terrible deal, a giveaway. You say, oh, well, he's going to get criticized anyway.
It is a giveaway. We're getting our money back.
No,
the government's giving our money back to us.
The big corporations and the rich are getting their money back, but the working man and
because
the
the
woman...
rich pay more taxes,
And this is what goes to Dana's point. Dana said, well, they're just going to say anyway that, you just give away to the rich. But actually, the promise was that the middle class or working class American would benefit from this tax plan, and that's just not happening.
I think the numbers are pretty good on that.
I don't think so. And I think even today, when we look at the job growth, everybody says, oh, this is great, this is great. Wait a second. Do you realize the job growth this year is slower than it was last year? Oh, my goodness.
That's because they didn't count
year.
January
I
and
see. Oh, here
December.
we go. This is
because
so
if you count it from Trump's election, it's actually better.
You know what?
Way to go, Jesse.
I'll give you a calendar.
Right?
Yeah, really. But I think you have to understand, it's not the Grinch that's stealing your coal here. It's reality. Let some reality.
He's giving us
into
coal
your,
back.
Let some reality into your echo
it.
chamber. The echo chamber is getting a little thick here, I think. Okay. Even in terms of wages, which is something he said, oh, I'm going to improve wages.
I agree with that.
Guess what?
Wage
Wages
growth
aren't
could
there.
be higher, but once
Not
the tax
there.
cuts go through, that'll jump.
What about this, Jesse?
What?
Workforce participation. Remember we say, oh, Obama has low unemployment, but, a lot of people aren't participating in the workforce because they're discouraged. Workforce, lack of participation, actually up
But
under
part of
Trump.
that, can I address that, though, a little bit? Because that is something that the Congress, the Republican leaders and the president have said they want to tackle next year. And part of workforce participation is the amount of people who are on benefits that are actually able-bodied, but they would lose money if they ended up going to work. And that's why the wage pressure issue could get better, because if you don't have enough workers, you're going to have to pay people more, and then they're going to try to get people back to work that way.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of these people are getting older. They're retirees. And guess what? If you said that, when I said that a year or two ago, everybody said, oh, that's ridiculous.
True.
That's ridiculous. But here's the bottom line that I would say to you guys. Forget the Democrats. Just look at the Republicans. guess what? Republicans have a lower opinion of Trump today than they did in February.
All you're doing
Oh,
is
my
citing
goodness.
polls.
Oh, that's
How
terrible.
well did that work during the
Terrible.
election?
It didn't
Oh,
work
my
at all.
gosh.
It wasn't a good litmus test. It wasn't a
Oh, yeah.
positive indicator.
Well,
But
he's
Jesse,
not only person he's running against.
But
is
your
himself.
first year is almost always your most consequential. And then you will continue to try to drive forward. It gets harder in an election year to try to actually get bigger things done. That's why you
does.
try to get them done as much as you can. And that's why they try to get the tax reform done, and the sequencing being try to do infrastructure and welfare next year. I'm sorry, and border security.
You know what also is helping him is the media creating a monster by combining various visuals and stereotypes and fear. They've kind of turned Trump into something else, like an orange phantom. He is almost like a supervillain. And that's actually added to his appeal, I think. I mean, I think if the media had not exaggerated the physical and comic proportions and his mannerisms to such a degree, I think he would be having a harder time.
Well, until this week, was anyone making fun of his mannerisms?
Yeah.
I don't.
no, in
I
the
mean,
past,
geez,
whatever.
isn't that SNL's entire?
Right, but then the
90
bottom
minutes?
line is the numbers and
You
the
mean with the
results speak
hands?
for themselves, do
Right.
they not, Jesse? For me, as a former prosecutor, I love the fact we've got a 25% decrease in illegals crossing the border, 40% surge in number of deportations in 2017. This, to me, has a direct, pivotal impact on crime across the country, and especially in areas that are really challenged, like California and border states. To me, this is very good news, and he's improving on it, and only if we can build the
Wall.
correct.